Yep. Good morning, guys. In yesterday's session, so we understood how to develop form-based application using Spring Boot. How to develop form-based application using Spring Boot. Now, later point of time, we have seen form binding and flexibility in form binding. Form binding in Spring Web MVC, and we have seen flexibility in form binding.
So you're not audible.
Yeah, we have seen form binding in Spring Web MVC and we have seen flexibility in form binding. Okay, now, so what do you mean by form binding in Spring Web MVC, guys?
Reading inputs and converting it as
Exactly. So, Spring MVC has the capability to read the form data and convert into object format.
object.
Spring Web MVC having capability to read form data and convert it into object. So that is called form binding. And what is flexibility in the form binding? It will take care of typecasting. So from the
Yes.
form data will come in the string format. Form data will come in string format. In string format. Spring Web MVC will convert that data according to data type of variable in the class to store into object. Okay, whatever the form data that we are capturing, we are trying to store the form data into the object. Okay, now, so phone number you entered in the form, the nature of the phone number is a number. It is a number value, right? Now, that value will come in the string format, but the class having the data type as a number. So the string value, I mean integer or long value, that string cannot be stored into long variable. So then what that Spring MVC has to do? It has to convert that string value to long value. Then it has to store the data into the object. These are the two benefits that we have seen. Now next one, Spring Web MVC provided form tag library. Spring Web MVC module provided form tag library to simplify forms development. Spring Web MVC module provided form tag library to simplify forms development. I want to develop a form with radio buttons. I want to develop form with drop down. I want to develop a form with check boxes. I want to develop a form with the list boxes. So here, in order to develop the form with that much flexibility, we have form tag library. Spring MVC module provided form tag library. Could you please tell me what is the purpose of this form tag library? Guys?
It will bind our object to form and form to object.
Which is used to simplify forms development. Okay, so form tag library contains several tags to develop the form. Spring form tag library contains several tags to develop the form. Now, what are the tags are available is form colon input, one tag, form colon password to display a password field. Okay, form colon select to display a drop down. Form colon select to display a drop down. Next one, form colon option, form colon option, form colon options, tag, drop down options. What values you need to display in the drop down? Options tag is available. Form colon radio button,
checkbox,
radio button, and form colon radio buttons. One radio button or group of radio buttons you want to display. Radio buttons. Yeah, form colon checkbox, form colon checkboxes, form colon checkbox, form colon checkbox, form colon checkboxes,
form colon text area,
form colon checkboxes, right? Form colon text area and form colon hidden,
Hidden.
form colon hidden variable also we can display by using this form. Okay, so etc. etc. Like this, there are several tags provided by Spring MVC form tag library, which is used to simplify our forms development. Now, so when we are developing that form by using, form tag library, form binding we are going to use. Okay, now, so here I have one record, book ID, book name, then book price. Book ID, book name, book price. Okay, so three fields I want to display in the form: ID, name, and price. And here I want to give submit. Here I want to give the submit button. Okay, so book ID, there will be one text field, book name, one text field, book price, one text field. ID, name, price, like that there are text fields available. Okay, now this data I want to bind to one book class. So here I'm going to write public class book, public class book. Here we will write integer book ID, string book name, Here we will write double book price. Okay, for this we are going to write @data, which is a Lombok annotation. Good. Now, so this is our Java class. Now, here whenever you are going for this form tag library, you need to bind your form fields to binding class variables. How we will do that is, this book ID variable will be binded to book ID field. That book ID field is binded to book ID variable. This is field binding. Book name variable will be binded to book name field. Book price variable will be binded to book price field. Now, this complete class object will be binded to the form. Form fields will be binded to the class variables. Okay, complete form will be binded to that object, that is form binding object. This is form binding object. Are you guys clear with this one? This is form binding object. Now here, field mapping. The field mapping we are going to do by using path. The field name will be available as a path. Path will be same with the variable name. Path name will be same with the variable name. Book ID, book name, book price. Book ID, book name, book price. These are the three variables that I will going to map to three fields that are available in the form. The complete object will be binded to that form. So when we are going to develop a form by using MVC form tag library, we need to bind our form to this binding class object. Now let us see how I am going to develop this form. Okay. File, new, Spring Starter project. Okay. Now this is 12th application, Spring Boot Web MVC form binding app. I'm not changing anything else here. Form app is
The
available.
13th one, sir.
13th. Yeah. Now War file I'm choosing. On next, Lombok web dev tools. Same dependencies. Dev tools dependency I'm using, Lombok dependency I'm using, web dependency I'm using. Next and finish. We need Tomcat embed container, Tomcat embed Jasper. So I will take that from previous project and I will add in the pom.xml, which is used to compile our JSPs. Tomcat embed Jasper. Tomcat embed Jasper. Yeah. I'm taking this Tomcat embed Jasper from previous project. I'm adding in the current project pom.xml. Tomcat embed Jasper. Good. Completed. Now, so here we are going to create the classes. First, for this form, I'm going to create one form binding class, that is book class. So right click, new class. So this one, I'm keeping this as domain object. I'm taking the name as book. Here I will just write three variables for the form binding fields. Private integer book ID, private string book name, private double book price, private double book price. Now I will configure this as @data, which is project Lombok, to generate the setters and getters. @data. Yes, we have Lombok configured here. Now let me create one controller for handling the form class. I'm creating this class with a name called book controller. I will keep this in controller package. Right. So to represent this as a controller, I'm using an annotation add controller. I'm using annotation add controller. Then I'm writing two methods. One is used to load the form. Another one is used to handle form submission. Okay. Now, public string load book form. Public string load book form. Return add book. Return add book. That is the name of the JSP. That is our logical view name. Next one. Public string save book, public string save book. Here return success. So these are the two logical view names that we are returning from the controller methods. Now we should bind these methods to HTTP request, guys. First method I am binding to get request by using @get mapping. Okay, here I will give load form. Right. Here also, earlier I have not taken any model object as a parameter. Now I'm going to take that model object as a parameter. Okay. Now I'm going to write model dot add attribute of book and attribute value is new book. So what I am storing in the model object, guys? What I'm storing in the model object?
Data.
Empty book object.
Empty objective book. Empty object.
Key is the book, value is the empty object of the book that I'm storing in the model scope. Okay. Why I'm storing empty book object in the model scope is for form binding. So when the form is loading, I need to tell that form data should be stored to which object, which field should be stored to which variable. For that mapping purpose, I'm writing this empty object. I'm storing this empty object into model scope. Okay. Now, first, let me develop this add book JSP. Go to src main web app. Let me create view file, new folder, views folder I'm creating. Inside the views, I'm creating a file with a name called add book, other JSP, addbook.jsp that I'm creating. Next, then finish it.
Sir, will you use ThemeLeaf, sir?
Yeah, we'll use one example. I will do by using ThemeLeaf also.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, here I have a JSP file to develop our presentation logic. The presentation logic I want to develop by using Spring Form Tag library, guys. Okay. So here I will add taglib. I will add taglib directive. So keep your mouse cursor, control space, press control, enter space for 2 times. You will get taglib directive. Automatically it is giving option spring tags you want to use or spring tags form you want to use. Form tags I want to use. Prefix will give as a form only. So in order to use tag library of the Spring MVC, form tag library of the Spring MVC, you need to configure taglib directive in your JSP. Now see here once again how I am going to configure. Control, enter space for 2 times. Press space for 2 times. You will get the option taglib directive. You choose the form tag. You choose the prefix as form. Prefix as the form. Good. Now inside the body, we are going to write that form. Book data. Save book here. Save book here. Now for this, we need a form. Form colon form we are going to write. Form colon form we are going to write. Next one, action. When you submit this form, which method should be called? That action value you need to specify. And the method post. Form will be submitted in the post or form should be submitted in the get.
Post, sir. Form submit post.
Why not?
Post, sir.
Post.
Why not get?
Sir, get will
URL
be
will be
load the form.
secure
It will
to
append
the
to
URL.
the
Secure expose data into URL.
When you go for get, form data will be appended to the URL. When you go for the get method, form data will be appended to the URL. That is not recommended. That's why we are giving it as a post. Method is equal to post. Next one, form should be binded to an object or not.
Yes.
Yes,
Form
sir.
should be binded to an object or not.
Yes.
Yes. In order to bind the
Model
form to an
attribute.
object, model attribute. What is the key that I stored?
Book.
Empty object.
Book.
So whenever this method is called, I'm sending one empty object in the model scope with the book as a key. If I access this book as a model attribute, then empty object will be available to bind for the form. So empty object we are binding to the form. Okay. Next one. So this is used to inform this form data should be binded to which object. Okay. Key is the book. That key contains a value as an empty object. In that object, the data will be binded. Good. Next, I want a table to display the fields properly with proper alignment. So let me take a table. Inside the table, we will have TR. Inside the TR, we will have TDs. One is for label, one is for field. TD, TR. Okay. This is for book ID. And this is for book name. And this is for book price. And this is for submit button. ID, name, price, and submit. Okay. Now book ID, first one. Okay. Next. Here input book ID I want to display as an input. For that we have a tag called form colon input. We have tag called form colon input. Now in this form colon input tag, data should be binded to book ID variable. How to bind it? By using path attribute. Path is equal to book ID. Path is equal to book ID. Now can you tell me what is the purpose of this path attribute here?
Sir, giving ID and name as a
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we are binding this field data to the book ID variable in the model class. Good. Similarly, we will write book name. Here we will write the book name. Here we are going to
binding.
specify form colon input path is equal to book name. Path is
Sir, some noise is coming.
Sir, mute all.
path is equal to book name. So whatever the data that you enter in the book name field should be stored to this book name variable. Next one, book price. Next one, book price. Okay. So here also we are going to write form colon input path is equal to book price. Path is equal to book price. Book ID, book name, book price. So these are the three fields that I am writing. Here I will write a submit button. There is no tag in the form tag library for the submit button. So manually HTML tag I will write it. Input type is equal to submit. Value is equal to save book. Input type is equal to submit. Value is equal to save book. So here I have developed this. I have developed this form by using form tag library. Guys, look at this. Look at the tab form which is developed by using form tag library. In the yesterday's class, we developed form by using normal HTML tags. But today, we developed this form by using Spring MVC form tag library. The thing that you need to understand, purpose of the model attribute and purpose of the path attribute. Model attribute is used to bind your form to an object. Path is used to bind the field to a variable. Bind the field to a variable. Okay. Now, first let us see, are we able to load this form or not? Are we able to load this form or not? Now, application properties, server.port is equal to 9090. Next one, view resolver we need to configure. Spring.mvc.view.prefix is equal to /views. Next one, spring.mvc.view.suffix is equal to .jsp. Server port is 9090. MVC view prefix is equal to views, suffix is equal to .jsp. Okay. Now let me run this application and see form is loading or not. Run as boot app. Okay. Application started. Now go here. Localhost colon 9090/load form. Yes, we are able to load the book form here. Suppose if I give anything wrong in this model attribute or in this path attribute, see here, instead of book name, I will just give it as a name attribute, name value. Path is equal to name. Then what it is going to check? In this book class, do we have any variable with a name called name? No, we don't have it. Now see the behavior of the form. Is it loading now? It is not loading. Invalid property name of the bin class, domain book. Boss, in the book class, there is no variable with a name called name. Okay, we can't use that. Whenever you are using this form binding, our path attribute value should match with our model attribute object variable names. Okay. Now, so here action, I will write save book. Save book. So whenever this form is submitted, this save book method should be called. That action should be called. Okay. Save book data. Now for this, I'm expecting book data as a object parameter, and I'm expecting model also. And I'm expecting model also. This should be binded to post request. So I'm using a URL pattern, that is post mapping /save book /save book. Okay. Now I will just print that book data on the console to observe whether I'm able to capture form data or not. System.out.println of book. ToString method will be executed. The content of the book object will be printed on the console. Then I am returning success. Okay. There should be one view file with a name called success. New JSP file. Other JSP file, will keep it as success.jsp. We'll keep it as success.jsp. Book saved successfully. Book saved successfully. Add a new book. Add new book. When new book is clicked, hyperlink is clicked, I'm calling load form. That first method should be called so that it will load the form for us. First method will be called and it is going to load the form for us. Book saved successfully, href, load form, add new book. Clear the console, stop it and start the server. Now we'll see that form is getting submitted or not. The form is getting submitted or not. Refresh, run this application, run as boot app. Application started. Now load the form. Yeah, form is loaded successfully. Enter the data. Price is number, right? Now I need to give it as some 350. Okay, observe our console. Are we able to capture the data or not? Clear the console. Then click on save book. Book saved successfully. Go to the console. Are we able to capture book data in the form of object or not? The book data is coming in the form of object. Okay. Book saved successfully. Go to add new book. Now form data is there. 1 or 2, some Hibernate, price some 300. Click on save book. Saved successfully. Second book data also we are able to capture. So form data we are able to submit. Now look at the form binding concept here, guys. Look at the form binding concept here. Look at the form binding concept. How I am binding my form to an object. Look at this by using form tag library. Two things are new for you here. One is model attribute, another one is path attribute. Model attribute is used to represent form binding object for this form. Path attribute is used to represent which field should be binded to which variable. Which field should be binded to which variable. Got it? Yeah. Anybody having any questions on this so far?
Sir, in the form
Hello,
type
sir.
is optional, right? We
Sorry?
can mention in the form addbook.jsp, we can mention the type for each field, right? That is optional
Which field?
type. Let's suppose for book ID, book name, book price. Can I mention the type? I know it's in book.java already there, but
Default type is equal text only for input field.
Type means I did not get the type.
Type.
like book ID is an integer, book name is a string, book price is a double.
Okay,
Here-
okay. The type attribute you're asking, the type attribute is not available in that form tag.
Sure, in case if we miss any kind of field here, like we have 3 fields in object, but if I miss one,
Validations you are talking about.
no. See, since we are going to map all fields to with object, right? So let's suppose here we have 3. So in book ID, if we are going to generate from the backend, so that time we don't need to take the book ID, right?
Yes.
So assume that like we are doing a registration. So in
Not
that,
required, sir. Not required. You can ignore that. That means all the variables in the class no need to have the fields.
okay, but mismatch we should not be there, right?
Yeah, mismatch should not be there.
Sir, I have a
Sir, here
doubt.
path is only name.
Variable
While
name.
yes, sir. So it is not like URL.
No.
So, sir, how it is recognized that like this variable is
Internally, it is
mapped
taking
to this?
ID and name.
Here, I already passed the key. Can you get the value of this key? Am I already passing the key here as a model attribute or not?
Yes.
So that is a key. For that key, what is the value available?
Object. Object.
Is
Book
available.
object.
Book object is available. Now, whenever I specify path is equal to book ID, can the Spring check, do I have any variable in that object with this name?
Yes.
If it is available, it will map it. If not available, it will throw the exception.
Sir, please open the success GSP.
Nothing is there.
Sir, load form, how it is working? How it is know that it need to load that particular form?
When you click on this hyperlink, I have given href is equal to load form. What is the load form? Load form is the URL pattern
Displaying
of this
form.
method. Okay. This method will be called when you click on the hyperlink.
Sir, please open the art book.
Ashok, what about the slash?
Slash is the URL pattern syntax, sir.
Sir, here it is
Sir,
optional.
addbook.jsp.
Sorry?
No, Ashok, we have not attached externally, right, in success page. So how come it came like?
Now, sir, here, when I am submitting the form also, am I giving slash shave book or I'm just giving the name of the action?
Name of the action.
So, whenever you click on submit button, this action is calling. What does it mean? Request will go to dispatcher servlet with the URL pattern as a save book. It will identify in the controller which method is binded to that URL pattern. Okay. Similarly, whenever I click on the hyperlink, request will go to dispatcher servlet with this URL pattern. It will ask the handler mapper which method is binded to this URL pattern. So it will say that load form method is load book form method is binded to that URL pattern called load form. Then it is going to method.
Sir, please open
So
artbook.jsp.
we will mention in configuration level like slash or else automatically it will get appended for the
We are
URL.
configuring the slash. We need to configure the slash for the URL pattern.
Okay. So defaultly it will
Sir, please explain tag library once.
Tag library video only I have sent yesterday, sir. If you go through that video once, you will understand it.
Sir, in model attribute, we are passing book as key, and it will be internally create the object of book object. So
Already we are creating the object and we stored as a value.
yes, yes, but on whose reference name it will create?
It will get the object and it will use the object. It will not recreate the object.
Here we are creating the object.
What is happening in the 15th line, guys?
Sir, here we are creating the object and passing as a model data.
Because Spring Web MVC supports two-way data binding.
Yes.
Spring Web MVC supports for two-way data binding. That means whatever the object that you are passing, if the object contains the data will be populated in the form. Okay?
Yes.
Whenever you submit this form data will be stored to the object. Okay, I will prove that. See here, I will create the value. I will create the value. I will create the book object. Book object is equal to new book. Okay, book object dot set book name as a spring. Now I will pass this as book object. Value can be anything. Okay.
It supports form to object, object to form.
Now what I am doing in the 15th line?
We are creating object and setting values and passing as
We
a
are creating
model.
the object and we are setting the data to the model object and we are returning logical view name. Are you guys clear with this one? What I am doing in this method?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We are creating a book object. We are setting the data to the book object. We are
We are
passing
passing
the
as a
object as a
model
value to the model attribute.
Yes.
Key is the book, value is the book object. Is it empty object or is that object contains some data?
It contains some data. Sir.
Then it will be displayed in
Content
the
data.
form.
It contains some data. Now refresh.
It will be displayed in the form.
Are we able to get that object value into the field?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
How come that value came to book name field?
It supports
Because-
two-way binding, sir.
There is a mapping between our object variable and form fields. Can you see any mapping between our class variables and the form fields? Is there any mapping between class variables and form fields?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. I stored the data for the book name into my object. That book name variable mapped to book name field in the JSP. As that object contains the data for the variable, that variable data populated here. Can I say it is a two-way data binding now?
Yes, sir.
Now I will change this from Spring to Spring Boot. I will enter some data and I will submit this form. I'm going to submit this form. Save book. Save book. Go to the console. Now Spring is coming or Spring Boot is coming?
Spring Boot.
Spring
Spring
Boot.
Boot is coming.
Whatever the data that you enter in the field, that data will be populated into the object. Whatever the data that is already there in the object will be populated in the form when you go for form tag library. Can I say this is a two-way data binding?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Object data can be populated in the form. Form data can be populated in the object. That is the beauty of form binding in the Spring Web MVC using form tag library. If I don't use form tag library, can I populate the value like that? Can I
No.
pre-populate the value?
No, no,
sir.
sir.
Yesterday we developed a form. We are able to
No,
capture the form data into object. But my question is, can I pre-populate my form with the data?
No, no, no.
Not. That is possible when you go for Spring MVC form tag library. If you want to achieve two-way data binding, then you need to go for Spring MVC form tag library only. So what is this form tag library? How to use it? What are the tags available? We have done one example on this. Okay. All of you comfortable with this form tag library example?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Very
sir.
simple example.
sir.
I have just taken 3 text fields only. The tomorrow session, I will develop one more example for the registration form with the drop down, radio button, checkbox and all. Then you will get the more clarity on this part.
Hi, sir. This is Bobby.
Sir, if we want to take a blur value in that for hint purpose, suppose string or we showing in the form sometimes you may type name here, full capital name like that.
I did not
Hello.
get your question.
Sir, could you
You
please
can
open
use
the form?
placeholder.
Yeah,
This
you
is
can
a
do it
form.
in JSP only. We can
Browser,
do it
browser.
in JSP only.
So here name is Spring is written here. If we want to some hint kind of thing like biller or sometimes we are, I mean, when we are filling the forms, we seeing here some hint,
Okay,
right?
We can
That
use
is form column.
placeholder in
That
form.
is form column errors path. Form
Here
column
only we can
Placeholder.
use.
I think it's in placeholder, sir.
He's
Yes,
asking about
placeholder.
placeholders. He's asking about placeholders.
We can
What
use
is
tooltip
form
also. Tooltip.
column? For this tag, that is not there, sir. Placeholder option also not available for form tag library.
We have to go with normal form, normal HTML or theme leaf.
Normal HTML or theme leaf, if you use, then you can write the placeholder. Enter ID here, enter name here. That
Yes,
type
yes,
of
form
placeholder
column,
we can.
form column errors path also in that we can also mention. If the,
error path means when the validation is failed, then error will be triggered, right?
yes, sir.
He is asking placeholder.
Inside the text box, that hint is given, no? Like, please enter your name like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I understood. I understood.
Yeah,
like this.
Like this.
Yes.
Okay. This
Sir,
is the placeholder.
Sir, edit form will be work like this only.
Yeah, edit. I will do the. We'll do the edit also. First, just you need to be comfortable with the tags of the form tag library. Then we'll develop one complex registration form with the drop-down text box, radio button check boxes in the tomorrow session. Then you will get more clarity on the
Sir,
tags.
I have one doubt. Can I share my screen?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I also have a same doubt.
Yeah, please share your screens.
Yeah, mal.
Yes, sir.
Your name?
Vamshi, sir. Myself, Vamshi.
Your name displaying as HP.
Yeah, Vamshi. Yeah, right.
Sir. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. 1 second.
Wait, let sir complete one.
Sir, I have one sending one mail, sir, to you.
I will check it.
Regarding I didn't attend 21 and 22 February classes.
Sure, sir. I will check.
And data JPA classes are missing 2-3 classes, sir.
Sure.
Could you please provide the?
I will check and let you know. Okay. Yeah, look at this. He is facing some problem, guys. Please help him.
Sir, when I share the data.
Here you are not converting UID. First convert it in the integer. Oh, UID is.
Yeah, parsing has not done from your side, dude.
Yeah.
Why did you commented this one?
What error you have written?
Yeah, I got the
What is the error?
Hash code. It is
Toastring method.
Toastring method you have tried.
Hash code is showing us way to convert it to toastring.
Have you written at data?
At the rate data.
It's not working for you at the data for you, I think. Yeah, at the data is not working. Just write.
That is the reason.
Toastring method. If you call, then it will print.
Right toastring, right click.
I'm not able to put the @ data, so that is the reason.
Yes, that's the reason.
Explicitly, you can write no toastring method, getter setter both.
Yeah, when I write the setter getter method, it will work toString method also. But
That
without
Lombok has not.
You have to configure Lombok properly.
Not in
Lombok is not configured.
Configured.
Yeah.
Properly.
So that is the reason why I share the screen.
Open your project folder. Open your project folder. Model.
Java resource. Open your Java resource. Open your Java resource.
User Java.
Yeah, this is the model class.
Project folder. In the project folder,
No.
open your model.
Just open your project folder. Just expand Java resources.
Expand it.
Yes.
Expand your
entity class.
Entity class. Expand one more time.
Just expand.
Expand one more time. Expand one more time.
Again. Yes.
No, you are not getting.
It's
a Lombok problem. You'll have to configure Lombok properly. It is not configured properly.
How can I do that?
Just download the Lombok, then go to the download directory, then open in command prompt. Just run the jar. Okay, so automatically it
use
will
the
come.
command java -jar
Yeah.
jar name
Simply
dot
Yeah,
java.
you can take the help of Google also, man.
Yeah,
Yes,
through
yes.
command
There are a
prompt,
lot of
like,
videos are available in the YouTube.
yeah,
You
sure,
can
sure.
take the
Like,
help of YouTube
In
videos.
our channel also Lombok videos are there. I told
Yes,
many
yes.
times, please watch Lombok videos.
yeah, okay, sir.
Take
Thank
the
you.
help of Lombok video. It will be.
Yeah, for time being, write the setters getters manually, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will work when I'm manually.
Yeah, it's
put the
definitely it's a
setter
problem of
getter and
Lombok.
twisting
Yeah.
also it will work.
Right, sir. Good.
Sir, I got some issues in my application. So can you check it once?
Your name?
Parth, sir.
Yeah, but
Wow.
I'm making a co-host. Share your screen.
Yes, sir.
Right. Guys, please practice these examples because from coming Monday, RESTful services we are going to start. Then you don't get the time.
Sir, batch are you gonna start, sir?
Huh?
Spring Boot batch, are you gonna start?
A batch will start. First, we'll complete the RESTful and microservices batch.
What's the problem you are getting? Just run it first.
Yeah, I'm trying to run here, but it will not run properly. It will get wide field error.
Run first. Spring Boot app.
Folder structure.
Sorry?
Folder structure. com.ashok ID controller and
Your
Raja.
base package. See
Base
application.java.
package.
Open application.java.
Babu Raja.
Raja, you have mentioned
Raja.
folder structure.
Raja Babu.
You have to take
Application is running
Raja.controller
sir.
Raja dot. Open your it's. Stop the server. Stop the server, Raj, and open your application.java first.
Application.java.
Yes, you're.
See the base package of application.java. What you have taken, Raja.
Yeah.
And the package should be in small letter.
Sorry?
Okay. And Raja is your base package. Okay.
Yeah.
So the other classes should be inside this base package, like subclass of sub package of this package only.
Yeah.
Or
So Raja.com
this package only. Right, Raja.controller. It will work.
Or count.ashok.it.
Otherwise, change base application property.
What I have to rename?
No, don't rename this.
No.
This.
Give cancel.
Sir, rename the Raja package to
Rename Raja package. Directly
rename.
Raja package.
Refactor.
Refactor rename.
Count.ashok.it.
Just complete Ashok IT.
A small.
Small letter. All should be small letter.
Package name should
Small letter.
That's all.
Okay. Now change that.
Package naming convention you need to follow. Always lowercase letters should be there in the package name. Okay. Now you keep that package name as com.ashok IT base package. Continue. What I explained it 2 days. What is base package naming convention? Remove that capital C in that controller package. Rename that also. Basics you people are not following. Right. Okay. Now run your app. Open our application properties. Good. Right now run it. Run your project. Right click on the project. Run as boot app. Now access that in the browser. Good. It's working. Fine. All right, guys. Now, please work on this example. For understanding more about the form tag library, in the yesterday's mail, I have given the drive link for one video. In that, I explained what is form tag library. Please go through that and practice. Come back for tomorrow. Tomorrow, we'll develop one complex registration form. We are developing one complex registration form with checkbox, radio buttons, and drop downs. Thank you. We'll continue tomorrow.